sacrificing everything for the Ice Queen CEO. I plunged into the abyss and lost my past. She played the devoted wife, and we wed, yet her heart still yearned for her white moonlight. The first love lost to time. At the first hint of his return, she tossed 5 million at me. He's back. Leave me, as I prepared to grovel at her feet, begging for her love. Suddenly, my true memories surged back. I am the sole heir to a legendary dynasty, promised to a goddess since birth. Yahello coldly thrust the divorce papers into my hands. Sign. This fortune will keep a stray like you fed forever. She vanished without a second glance, chasing the ghost of her past. Signing with lethal precision. I dialed a number I hadn't used in 2 years. Remember me, I whispered. On the other end, a sharp voice snapped. Who's this? How could I possibly know a random caller? Ishmirked? Forgotten my voice so soon. Ellie, how disappointing. Has my blade gone dull? Or have you just grown too arrogant? Dead silence gripped the line for 2 long seconds. Then, she screamed with pure shock. God, you're actually alive. 2 years missing. She seeded. I figured you'd eloped with some commoner. Ignoring her bitterness, I issued a single, cold command? Track my location. Retrieve me now. At dawn the next morning, a diamond-encrusted Ferrari roared to a halt outside the villa gates. A breathtaking goddess, with glacial blue eyes. She rushed to embrace me with pure devotion. I coldly shoved her aside, striding toward the car with iron resolve. Heartless Ellie fumed. I flew from America overnight for this cold welcome. My gaze was glacial. Drive. I cast one final look at the cage I called home for 2 years. This world wasn't mine, just as Yahello never truly belonged to me. 2 years as her punching bag was more than enough. Now, I'll hunt the shadows who stole my past and shattered my life. 2 days later, Yahello stormed home. Locking herself away in a fit of seething rage, the lead was a lie. Her white moonlight remained a ghost. A maid entered timidly, presenting the signed divorce papers like a death warrant. Miss, he signed without hesitation and simply walked away. He took nothing, not even your money. Yahello's brows furrowed in confusion. That useless man has no skills and not a single cent. Surely he's playing the victim to crawl back and beg for mercy. She resolved to finalize the split before his pathetic schemes could begin. Suddenly, her assistant rushed in, face pale with shocking news. Miss Shia, he's returned. Yunshu's face twisted with pure annoyance. She knew he wouldn't let go so easily. But Yangting trembled. No, miss. The media spotted him with a foreign heiress, exiting a luxury hotel together. Yunshu's world tilted. He knows the legend, Ellie. No wonder he scorned my money. He had already secured a fresh start elsewhere. Frustration boiled within Yahello. Her temper flaring to its breaking point, she summoned Shen Kuning to a bar within Kyoto's neon-lit. Sleepless heart. 16 beauties stood before me. A smug grin curled my lips. Upstairs, Ellie handled business within the shadows of a private suite, fearing I'd grow restless. She brought company to keep me entertained. Swirling my vintage red, I asked, Tell me, how old are you? I'm 23. Big brother, one replied with a flirtatious giggle. 21, another chirped. Ellie's choices were absolutely flawless. Their beauty was undeniable. Their figures carved like goddesses, far better than that icy dog. Yahello, let her chase her white moonlight. I flashed a devastating grin at the stunning girl beside me. Drink with me. If I'm pleased, a sports car is yours. Tempted by my wealth, she pressed closer and poured another glass. A toast to you. Passionate cheers erupted as my generosity dazzled them. They used every seductive charm to keep me entertained. Meanwhile, shrouded in the heavy silence of the VIP suite, Yahello sat with Shen Kuning, who finally broke the tension. Yuno, it's been years. You must let this ghost go. For 5 years, a $30 million bounty yielded nothing but silence. Despite her vast influence, the man remained a shadow in the dark. If he hadn't appeared by now, hope was a fading ember. He was likely dead. But Kuning dared not speak that truth aloud. Yunshu remained silent, draining her glass as coldness filled her eyes. Sensing the glacial air, Kuning quickly pivoted to a new topic. Did you truly agree to the divorce? His devotion was legendary. Even before the vows, his pursuit had been relentless. He had haunted her days with desperate, overflowing affection. To escape her family's chains, she used him as a shield. I had sacrificed everything, offering my very soul on a silver platter. How could such obsessive love vanish? Something was deeply wrong. As for Yunshu, recalling the hotel photos with Ellie, her expression turned to ice. Suddenly, Kuning froze, pointing toward the chaotic dance floor below. Wait, why does that man look exactly like Ji Huai? No, impossible. Ji Huai was never that breathtakingly handsome. Yunshu's eyes narrowed as she followed her friend's trembling finger. In the elite VIP lounge, a circle of beauties adored one man. He reclined with effortless grace, his presence dominating the entire room. He swirled his crimson wine, the picture of detached luxury. À la zi. Regal aura radiated from his every movement. As a girl poured my drink, I flashed a lethal smile. Yunshu stared down, her heart hammering against her ribs in shock. Is that really him? Kuning gasped, her mind going blank. It was truly him, surrounded by stunning beauties. His magnetism seemed truly limitless. Yunshu gazed at me, her eyes glacial and cold. First, photos leaked of him entering a hotel with Ellie. But now he acts so brazenly here. Fine. Zhu, you've hidden skills. While flirting with the beauties, I felt a sharp, piercing gaze. I glanced back and saw a familiar silhouette approaching me. My eyes flashed as a mocking smirk curled on my lips. Yunshu cut through the crowd and stood before me. Freshly divorced and already chasing skirts, are you truly that insatiable? Zhu, I reclined on the sofa, grinning. After all, life is fleeting. One must indulge while possible. She glared down, her face like ice. Her friend whispered, Yunshu, has he gone mad since you dumped him? I smiled. You're joking. I draped my arms casually around the beauties on each side. Why abandon the whole forest for a single disloyal dog woman? She froze in shock. He actually called her a dog woman. Was this the same man? She glared as I held them close. Her expression twisted, turning dark with seething rage. The man standing here was a total stranger to her now, meeting her gaze. Ishmirked? Am I wrong? Miss She. Her beauty was undeniable, radiating an air of untouchable, glacial pride. Right now, her eyes burned with a dangerous, unspoken intent. Suddenly, a massive, drunken brute stumbled over. Two beauties, fighting for one weakling. Come to Big Brother instead. Let me show you love. Yunshu frowned, dodging aside. The fat man shoved my beauties away. What's so special about this pathetic, skinny little brat? I could crush him instantly. He reached out with a greasy hand. Cold killing intent flashed in my eyes. As his hand neared my collar, I delivered a thunderous, heavy slap. He howled in agony, crashing hard onto the floor. You brat! I promptly buried a kick in his gut, launching him. Immediately, his group of bodyguards swarmed toward me, my blood boiling with a hint of dark, excited bloodlust. I met them head on, crushing them with single, devastating punches. In under 10 seconds, 5 guards lay broken on the ground. I brushed off the dust and leisurely sipped my fine wine. Her jaw dropped, her face painted with pure, utter disbelief. Since when could he fight? He used to be so refined. How did his power explode so suddenly in one moment? Was it all an act? Yunshu's frost melted into a smirk. Her ex-husband was far more intriguing than she ever imagined, submissive and quiet, for 2 years of marriage. His personality shifted after the divorce. Plus, why did his lethal moves look so strangely familiar? Yunshu's gaze sharpened, suspicion flickering within her glacial eyes. Noticing the beauties nearby, I crooked a finger with a devilish smirk. Why so distant? Come closer and pour your brother a drink. Before they could settle, a gaze cold as frost pierced the room. Yunshu's icy aura turned their legs to jelly, sending them fleeing in terror. In Kyoto, crossing a Shea family heiress was a certain death sentence. I met her eyes with total indifference. Xia Yunchu. Ruining the mood is a sin. Yunshu's brow furrowed, seething with rage. Ji Huai. We aren't officially separated. There is a 1-month cooling-off period. Only after 30 days can we finalize the official divorce certificate. Iskofte. Yunshu. Don't tell me you're looking to rekindle old flames. Reconcile, she snapped, her voice dripping with venom. You're dreaming. I poured a glass. Glad we agree. Yunshu gazed at the striking man, this flamboyant stranger, failing to grasp where it all went wrong. Only 2 days ago, he was still shamelessly clinging to her shadow. He'd begged to stay. Yet now, he was a completely different person. What's your link to Ellie? Yunshu interrogated. I didn't even glance up. My life doesn't concern an ex-wife. Ellie's voice rang out, trembling with shock. She stood there, pointing a trembling finger at the Ice Queen. Ji Huai. You actually married this wild woman behind my back. Instantly, Yunshu's eyes turned glacial as the air pressure turned suffocating. Calling her a wild woman, I flashed a look of hidden killing intent. Ellie instantly recoiled, playfully sticking out her tongue in fear. Yunshu. A proper ex-wife should act as if she's already deceased. Understood. Hearing this, Yunshu's grip tightened, white with suppressed fury. Done with her. Isinelad Ellie. Let's find somewhere better to continue. Ellie followed. Yunshu glared at my back, eyes swirling with a dark flame. Suddenly, a jarring realization struck her mind. How did he know an American tycoon like Ellie? Their bond seemed deep. 2 years ago, I was found broken. My past a total blank. For 2 years, I'd been her shut-in, never leaving her private villa. Meeting a powerful foreigner like Ellie should have been impossible. Yunshu's gaze flickered. Shen Kuning. Dig into Ellie's background immediately. I want every detail linking her to my husband. Ji Huai. Check GY too. Shen Kuning chuckled, his voice teasing. Yunshu. Why does it feel like you're the one being dumped? Meanwhile, after leaving the city of eternal lights, I headed home. My new venue was just a ploy to provoke her. Throughout the entire drive, Ellie chattered endlessly, prying into my history with the Ice Queen. Weary. I confess she saved my life 2 years ago, so I married her. Her first love returned. So we're done. She saved your life? Ellie stared in disbelief. Usually, it was Ji Huai doing the saving. Could someone actually best him? My expression grew cold as stone. Black Hill assassins were sent to end me. Ellie's blood ran cold. Black Hill. A name whispered in fear across East Asia's shadows. Ruthless and bloodthirsty. These mercenaries value gold far above human life. For the right price, they'll drench their hands in anyone's blood. Memories of that lethal jungle ambush 2 years ago flooded back. Killing intent flashed in my eyes. Who dared hire them to end me? Found the mastermind? Ellie asked. I silently shook my head. My memories only returned 2 days ago. Investigation has barely begun. Ellie's gaze turned sharp. 48 hours. I'll find them. I nodded. Suddenly, Ellie froze. Wait. The dark web has a bounty on you. The bounty has already reached $30 million. Ishmirked. 30 million. Such a generous hunter for my soul. Only those desperate for my healing touch would pay such a fortune. I shrugged. Many seek my life, but few possess the courage. Back at the hotel, I finished washing up when a vital memory jolted my mind. My jade pendant remains with Xia Yunu, a forgotten wedding gift. Back then, I was blind to its true, ancient power. Now, endless regret flooded my heart for being so careless. How could I treat such a sacred heirloom like common trash? Without it, my path is blocked. I must reclaim my legacy. Next morning, Shen Kuning rushed to Shaw Corporation, seeking the CEO. This is everything I could dig up regarding Ji Huai. Xia Yunu scanned the sparse files. Only a few lines of data. Shen Kuning Saihil. It's all encrypted. His past is a fortress. He's a ghost in the system beyond the basic facts. Encrypted data. The Ice Queen's brow furrowed in suspicion. This was unprecedented. No ordinary man could hide his tracks so well. She glared at the documents, her gaze turning glacial and sharp. Suddenly, the door burst open. Miss Shaw. Mr. G has arrived. My overwhelming aura flooded the room before she could even finish. Surprise flickered in Xia Yunu's eyes as she gazed at me. Recalling my terrifying strength last night, Shen Kuning recoiled in dread. I ignored her. Facing the CEO, returned my jade pendant immediately. Staring at this transformed man, Yunu's throat went dry. What pendant, she asked. I sneered. I knew she'd forget. To her, I was always nothing. She hadn't even looked at it. Tossing my gift aside, the wedding gift. I snapped. My voice, cold as frost. A faint memory finally stirred within her cold mind. That pendant was with me when she saved my life. She leaned back, sizing me up. All this drama for a trinket. I stood defiantly. Don't flatter yourself. I'm not here to beg. Her gaze turned glacial. Good. She spat. Inside. A bitter smile crossed my face. To Mei? She's now a stranger. Reconciliation is a dead dream. Perhaps in the next life, wasting breath on her was useless. I reached out, my voice turning glacial. Bring me the jade pendant. Xiao Shu met my gaze with frozen indifference. I discarded it long ago. My heart stopped. Thrown away. She actually had the audacity to throw my precious heirloom away like common trash. She took a slow, calculated sip of her coffee. Her expression as unreadable as a stone wall. Must I keep every gift I slammed the table? The surface rattling. Where did you throw it? Xiao Shu, she remained dead silent. Her face a mask of absolute, chilling calm. I've forgotten. I clenched my fists until the knuckles turned white. A dark killing intent surging within. She keenly caught the flash of bloodlust in my eyes, finding my sudden rage surprisingly entertaining. In 2 years of this hollow marriage, she had never seen me pushed to such an edge. We stood locked in a suffocating stalemate until a low, chilling laugh escaped my throat. Listen carefully. Xiao Shu, I'm giving you exactly 10 days. If that jade pendant isn't back in my hands by then, I'll withdraw our divorce application during this cooling-off month. As long as I object to this split, the Bureau will cancel the filing immediately. Our marriage will remain an ironclad cage. Xiao Shu froze, the color draining from her face as it turned icy cold. She realized it then. This man wouldn't let her go without a devastating fight. A jade pendant. She thought it was a pathetic excuse. My smile grew dangerously wide. As long as I refuse to sign those papers and end this, your precious white moonlight will remain nothing but a shameful, hidden mistress. Her eyes turned venomous as she stepped into my space. Zhu, listen well. This divorce is happening. I laughed, the sound sharp and cold. Then, find my jade pendant as fast as possible. Fail me, and I'll make the entire Jia group burn alongside you. This is your final warning. I threw her one last glare and strode out without looking back. The moment I stepped out of that suffocating office atmosphere, a man with obnoxious yellow hair came swaggering directly toward me. Song Mingyu, the arrogant Song heir and one of Xiao Shu's most persistent admirers, he's been a thorn in my side since the wedding. Seeing me leave her office, Mingyu stopped dead in his tracks, a look of pure shock crossing his face. What are you doing here? He roared. None of your damn business. I snapped irritably. Previously, I had suppressed my true nature, playing the role of a submissive, obedient husband for her. Every time this clown looked for trouble or humiliated me, I endured the shame in silence. But those days of being a doormat are officially over. Mingyu didn't expect the weak man he usually bullied to actually possess a spine. His face twisted with rage. Xiao Shu is divorcing you. Why are you still lurking around like a dog? A cold, brilliant smile spread across my face as I gazed at him. Young Master Song. Until we receive that certificate, she is still my legal wife. He rushed forward, pointing an arrogant, trembling finger right at my nose. So what if you're a legal couple? You know she doesn't love a loser like you. I brushed his hand away. Whether she likes me or not is completely irrelevant now. What matters is this, as long as I don't sign. I am the master here. Mingyu was seething, his face turning a deep crimson. I've seen many pathetic moochers before. You're just clinging to this marriage for the money, aren't you? You parasite, he sneered, flicking a check directly at my face. Here is 1 million. Take the cash and vanish forever. I narrowed my eyes and lazily reached for the check. 1 million to vanish for just 1 hour. Sun Minga glared. 1 hour, I want you gone. This parasite is delusional. Scoffing at my offer. Young master song. Such a pitiful 1 million. With a sharp flick, the check spun forward. The paper sliced like a blade across his cheek. He clutched his stinging face, dripping with blood. You dare cut me? I'll kill you, I sneered. 2 years ago, jungle beasts couldn't kill me. He lunged, swinging his fist with frantic rage. However, a sickening crack echoed. Followed by his scream, he collapsed to his knees in pure agony. His right arm hung at a mangled angle. Looking down at the kneeling heir, I smiled. Learn your place before you lose much more. What are you doing? Yunshu's voice snapped nearby. He wailed instantly. Yunshu. He's trying to kill me. I turned, clapping my hands. Can't you see? I'm just clearing trash. She ordered her men to rush him away. Apologized to him. Immediately she commanded coldly. Our families were bound by deep business ties. Song Mingu was their precious, spoiled heir. I looked at her as if she were insane. He doesn't deserve it. I turned to go. She grabbed me. But I shook her off. Don't touch me. Think I'm still that weak. Amnesiadsman. Her aura turned glacial. Are you seeking death? I can grant that wish. I smiled disdainfully. Try me. Danger radiated from her like frost. Don't think Ellie's protection makes you untouchable. Ishmirked. So, you're jealous of my backer. She despised me. So why the sudden envy? She was simply seething with irritation. Give up this act. She snapped at me. You aren't as loved as money. Dog woman. I turned and left with effortless grace. Her icy gaze burned into my departing back. Is this still the man who loved you? Could his very soul have been replaced? She couldn't understand his sudden, drastic change. I returned to my hotel until Shanger called. Shanger was Xia Yunshu's younger sister, vibrant and pure. Her radiant smile could melt the coldest heart. She just heard about the bitter divorce between her sister and me, and fearing I'd break, she begged me to go out and relax. In the Xia clan, Linger was my only light. After I lost my memories, before leaving Kyoto forever, I wanted to repay her kindness. So, I agreed. At the mall, I led her straight to the elite Hermes boutique. 30 minutes later, Linger emerged, clutching a diamond-encrusted crocodile skin bag, the ultimate treasure she never dared buy. Her world was spinning, though she lived a lavish life. Spending 4 million on a bag was insane. Brother, why give me this? She stared at the bag, a fortune worth more than a luxury villa. I simply nodded with a smile. Your birthday is next month. Right. An early gift. Linger's eyes brimmed with tears of pure joy. You're amazing, but how can you afford something so breathtakingly expensive? She was puzzled. Didn't he leave her sister's house with absolutely nothing? He hadn't even worked a single day in 2 years. Where was the income? Just some old savings? I replied coolly. She gasped, then froze, her eyes widening as the truth hit her. You remembered, I nodded. And she stood there, stunned, silent. No wonder his aura had changed. He felt like a completely different man. His legendary memories had finally returned. Lingakaisami. Her eyes, sparkling with newfound wonder. Are you some hidden billionaire's heir? I chuckled and waved her off. Not an heir. Just the billionaire. Linger beamed with pure delight. Heh. Then spoil me for the rest of the day. We swept through every luxury counter before ending with a grand dinner. Linger headed home, buried in her mountain of spoils. Back at my hotel, a chilling phone call shattered the silence. I answered, but a cold, venomous male voice greeted me instead. Linger's brother-in-law. You have 30 minutes to reach the Yunjing villa. Fail, and you'll be collecting her cold, lifeless corpse. Inside the shadows of Yunjing villa, Linger sat bound on the sofa, her mouth sealed with thick tape. 2 stone-faced bodyguards loomed over her, watching her every single breath. The man hung up, turning to his dogs with a smirk. Untihe? Once free, Linger ripped the tape off, her eyes blazing. Wenshi, have you lost your mind? She screamed. Standing tall. You actually dared to kidnap me. In Kyoto. The Wen and Su families shared power with the Shias. Their history was messy. But they still maintained a facade. Stay still. Princess. I only want your brother-in-law to walk into my trap. Linger's blood ran cold as the realization hit her hard. She'd heard he'd scarred Song Mingyu's face and crippled his hand forever. And Wenshi was Song Mingyu's most loyal, ruthless brother, kidnapping her as bait. He's clearly seeking bloody revenge for Song Mingyu. No. She couldn't let Brother Jihuai walk into this deadly trap. Xiao Linger lunged for the phone, but the guard's iron grip held firm. Listen. Wenshi, Brother Ji, and my sister are still legally married. Touch him, and my sister will destroy you. Wenshi let out a cold sneer. Who are you scaring? Word is, Yunshu treats that man like trash. 2 years of marriage. And she hasn't spared him a single glance. He dared to humiliate my brother. Mingyu, today, I'll teach this arrogant brat a lesson he'll never forget. Xiaolinger's blood boiled. She hurled a glass at Wenshi in rage. Absolute garbage. My brother-in-law and sister share a bond you could never understand. Harm one hair on him, and she'll skin you alive. Wenshi dodged. Little girl, do you think I was born yesterday? Everyone knows Yunhu treats Ji like a discarded, filthy shoe. Why would she care? A murderous glint flashed in Wenshi's eyes. He crippled Mingyu's hand, so I'll shatter both of his today. He pointed to his dogs. Guard the door. No one gets out. When he arrives, make that bastard crawl in on his knees. Fuming, Xiaolinger rolled up her sleeves. You bastard, I'll kill you. Before she could strike, the bodyguards pinned her down with brutal force. Second miss. Keep being ungrateful, and don't blame me when things get bloody. As when she spoke, a sharp screech of brakes pierced the air. Hey, it seems our guest has arrived quite early. Xiaolinger paced, praying desperately that her sister was the one coming, not Yihuai. She'd sent an SOS to Yunshu during the kidnapping, but she had no idea if her sister had seen the signal. Wenshi sat cross-legged, eyes fixed on the entrance like a predator. Suddenly, the agonized screams of guards echoed from the hallway. Wenshi froze. Was the person arriving? Not Yihuai. In an instant, the screaming stopped. A heavy silence filled the room. I appeared, casually spinning a stolen baton, looking completely relaxed. Wenshi's eyes widened. A suffocating, murderous aura radiated from the doorway. The visitor was indeed Ji Huai. Seeing me, Xiaolinger screamed, Brother Ji, run, get out of here. Don't worry about me. They won't dare touch a member of my family. Wenshi snapped out of it. Gag her. Shut her up now. Before he could finish, a lethal chill swept through the room. A dark shadow blurred past, followed by 2 sickening. Mafluthus. Xiaolinger watched in awe as I effortlessly demolished her captors. One skull met the baton. The other was kicked flying like a rag doll. Both collapsed heavily, too broken to even let out a scream, sensing the tide had turned. Wenshi shrieked toward the door. Get in here, I just smiled. If you're shouting for those men outside. Save your breath. I gasped, staring in pure disbelief. His 20 bodyguards were supposed to be elite professionals. Yet, I'd crushed them all in under 10 minutes. How could one man possess such terrifying power? My expression remained glacial, eyes burning with killing intent. You dared touch my people. You're begging for death. The suffocating pressure made it impossible for him to breathe. But without revenge for Sung Mingyu, he'd lose face forever. Wenshi hissed. Jie, you crippled Sung Mingyu's hands. Disfigure yourself and break both arms. Then you can leave. A smirk curled my lips. Truly, the funniest joke ever. Xiaolinger grabbed my hand, pleading for us to go. Linga, wait for me outside. She looked at me, worried. Be good. Linger, listen to me. I whispered gently. She nodded, finally stepping away toward the exit. Moments later, a blood-curdling scream tore through the villa. Terrified, she turned back, only to see me walking out. Brother Ji. She ran and gripped my hand tightly. Are you hurt? I smiled calmly. I'm perfectly fine. She scanned me, sighing in relief at my lack of injuries. Outside, she saw a dozen bodyguards scattered like broken dolls. Gasping, she covered her mouth, eyes wide with shock. Brother G had single-handedly annihilated this entire elite squad. She gave me a thumbs up, her eyes sparkling with admiration. I chuckled, but two luxury cars suddenly roared toward us. A black Maybach and a silver Bentley screeched to a halt. "It's my sister," Linger shouted, jumping with pure joy. Both vehicles stopped simultaneously, lights piercing the dark. The Bentley door opened, revealing a strikingly elegant woman. Yan Yun looked at the bouncy Linger, then turned to me. "Why are you here?" She noted the glowing villa and the unconscious guards nearby. I flashed a wicked smile. "I was told I'd be collecting Linger's corpse today." "Linga togel heam. You must thank my brother-in-law. If he hadn't saved me, I would be dead now." I waved it off. They were targeting me anyway. Then, a woman stepped out from the black Maybach. She was breathtaking, radiating an aura similar to Yan Yun. When Ruzu nodded to me, checking on the startled Linger snorted, noting Ruju was far prettier than Wen Shi. Ruju's gaze swept the fallen guards. Her voice turned cold as frost as she spoke. "That fool kidnapped Yan Yun's sister. He truly chose death." The assistant scrambled inside, his face pale with dread. He stumbled back out, stammering, "The second young master." Ruxu's expression darkened. What could have happened? His pinky was severed, leaving him unconscious. Xiaonu froze as the color drained from her face. Instinctively, their eyes drifted toward me. Searching for the truth? "I did it," I declared, my voice dripping with cold arrogance. Losing one finger was an act of mercy. Shaolinger starred in pure shock. I had actually maimed Wen Shi. No wonder I ordered her to leave first. I didn't want her to witness such a bloody scene. How heartwarming of Brother Ji Huai, Ruxu thought, her grip tightening in frustration. She had heard the whispers, though they had never met until today. Gossip labeled Xiaonu's husband a spineless coward, a soft pushover for everyone to trample. Yet, this supposedly weak man just crippled her sister. "Xiaonu, your husband." I cut Ruxu off, casting a glacial glance at Xiaonu. "We have no relationship now." Xiaonu's jaw tightened as she glared at me. He wanted to sever their ties that badly. Xiaolinger watched her sister closely. Wasn't she the one demanding a divorce? Why did she look like the one dumped? It was a strange sight. I rolled my eyes, feeling utterly bored with them, having no interest in their drama. I spoke with freezing indifference. "If the Wen family wants revenge, come find me. A friendly warning, you'd better bring a lot more people next time." Without another word, I slid into the sleek sports car. The engine roared like a beast as the car shot forward like a lethal arrow. Xiaolinger could only watch as the red tail lights vanished into the dark. She almost jumped with excitement, her heart hammering against her ribs. Brother G was incredible tonight. He crushed all those bodyguards single-handedly. Xiaonu stared into the distance. Then her mind, a chaotic storm. Ruxu recalled my domineering aura, feeling a spark of dangerous interest. He maimed her sister and handled an army of guards without a single scratch. This man was clearly a hidden dragon. Far from ordinary. "Your ex-husband is fascinating." "Xiaonu." Xiaolinger immediately snapped back. "Ruxu, don't even think about it. Stay away from my brother-in-law. He and my sister haven't officially signed the divorce papers yet." Ruxu gave a playful smirk. "Then I'll just wait until they do." Glacial coldness instantly radiated from Xiaonu's piercing gaze. "You wouldn't dare." Seeing Xiaonu's fierce reaction only fueled Ruxu's curiosity. "Relax. I'm only joking. Why so serious? Since you're divorcing, my pursuit shouldn't matter. Then go ahead and try." Xiaonu's eyes flashed with a lethal warning. She paused, her voice low. "Control your sister. If she crosses me again, she'll lose more than a finger." Ruxu nodded silently. Tonight, the Wen family was entirely at fault. Even without my interference, Xiaonu wouldn't have let Wen Shi escape unscathed. That severed finger was a bloody lesson for her lawless arrogance. After delivering the chilling warning, Xiaonu drove away with Xiaolinger. I finally returned to the hotel, the suffocating silence of the room welcoming me. Ellie clutched her laptop, her eyes shimmering. Giwei. Look, I finally tracked the Black Kill transactions from 2 years ago. A hidden file with your name held a secret bank account. That account number unmasked the ghost who wanted me dead. Ellie stayed silent, handing me the tablet with a grim look. My blood ran cold. It was the G family of Jin Chung. My own blood hired assassins to hunt me. I was stunned. Before I could call grandfather, a headline flashed on screen. Jiha-chan of the Gi family to wed the Jang heir. Beneath the headline sat their polished, smiling wedding portrait. I stared at the photo, my mind going blank with shock. My cousin and the fiancé I was pledged to years ago. They were actually marrying while they thought I was rotting. Those bastards. Did they truly believe I had finally perished? I dug for the truth and uncovered 2 devastating facts. First, the family declared me dead and held a lavish funeral. Second, grandfather was paralyzed by a stroke from excessive grief. He was the only one who knew my true power. Without seeing a corpse, he never would have believed it. They shouldn't have known I fell off that cliff. Unless... I glared at the bank details I just uncovered. Grandfather raised me as the sole heir since my parents died. If I were gone, the inheritance would fall to the second branch. Everything clicked. Ellie poured a glass of crimson wine. Her movements elegant. She smiled thinly. Giwei, the time has finally come. I brought enough men to level their estate. I glared coldly. Don't meddle. Ellie sighed. Aren't you planning your revenge? I sipped the wine. I'm far too kind for that. Ellie grinned, snapping her fingers. You haven't changed at all. Pack up. We return to Jincheng tomorrow morning. I slept fitfully. On the plane, I masked my exhaustion. Upon landing, I rested at the hotel until nightfall. I awoke at 9, ready to move under the shadows. 6 ancient families rule the land. In the north, the Su, Vin, and Shia stand firm, with Shias dominating. In the south, power balances between the Mu and Jangs. However, 20 years ago, the Mus vanished, and the Jang family's power began crumbling. Now, the Gi family reigns supreme. My grandmother was their friend. She supported the Jangs for years, out of pure gratitude. She even intended for our 2 bloodlines to be joined. So, the moment I came of age, I was summoned for a forced engagement to Jang Yuing. 5 years ago, our families orchestrated a high-profile spectacle of pure luxury. Bidam. The Jang family stocks soared by 5 points. From that day on, their empire enjoyed smooth sailing in the business world. Soon, I arrived at the G family's ancient, looming estate. I ditched the car and scaled the back wall. A lone shadow. To my shock, the guards were all new, and security much tighter. I moved like a ghost toward the villa where my grandfather resided. Empty. Grandfather had suffered a stroke and was nowhere to be found. Had my treacherous second uncle hauled him away to a nursing home. With no sign of him, I didn't plan on staying a second longer, but as I descended, I accidentally alerted the guards. Damit? The alarm wailed as heavy boots thundered toward me from all directions. Ina panic. I bolted upstairs and met a man head-on. Without a word, I silenced him with one devastating palm strike. I ducked into a guest room, eyeing the balcony for an escape. Suddenly, a sharp gust of wind lashed out at me from within. I slammed the door shut and saw Xia Yunhu standing there, frozen. What was she doing here? She never expected the intruder to be me. Why was Ju here? And why had he stirred up so many guards? Footsteps hammered outside. With no time to explain, I dived into the bathroom. The moment the bathroom door clicked shut, a knock echoed. I gripped the handle, my blood running cold. A guard entered, asking Xia Yunhu if she'd seen any suspicious intruders. She denied it. Finally, I let out a breath I'd been holding. So, she still had a conscience. Come out, her cold voice commanded. The guards left. I stepped out to her piercing gaze. Why are you here? Ishmirkad, raising a defiant eyebrow at her. I should ask you. Xia Yunhu, why are you in my house? She froze. Are you a G family member otherwise? How is this yours? I noticed a teacup on the table and casually took a sip. Her gaze was unreadable. The family records had no one named Ju. If he were truly blood, the guards would have surely recognized him. I set the cup down. Who I am. You'll learn soon enough. I fell silent. My survival had to remain a secret for now. I moved toward the window, but my legs suddenly felt like lead, mistaking my weakness for an injury. She rushed forward to support me. I looked up, my face burning with a sudden, feverish flush. She froze, suddenly remembering the glass of juice I had just finished. It had been delivered earlier by Jiha Chen's scheming cousin. It was spiked. I tore at my collar, a suffocating heat rising. The last of my sanity was being devoured by a raging fire. I leaned toward her. Her jaw tightened as she caught my hands. Ju? Stop, she hissed. Then, I pulled her into a kiss. Her blood boiled instantly, her heart hammering against her ribs like a bird. This agonizing sensation was all too familiar. 5 years later, Shi Yunhu's gaze burned through me once more. Could it be him? A nightmare consumed my soul. Dreams dragged my consciousness back to that rain-soaked night 5 years ago. I was a humble humanitarian aid worker in South Africa back then. Terrorists stormed the hospital, blindfolding me in the sudden darkness. Despite my desperate pleas, that woman showed absolutely no mercy. Waking later, I froze the Ice Queen. Si Yunhu lay beside me. In our 2-year marriage, she'd never even touched my hand. Impossible. Reality snapped my wandering thoughts back to the present. Last night's memories surged, drugged. I had used her as the antidote. Her eyelids fluttered. The CEO was finally stirring awake. With lightning speed, I struck her neck, knocking her cold. Yunhu lost consciousness the very second her eyes opened. Exhaling in relief, I escaped the Gi residence before dawn's light. Soon after, Yunhu awoke to a cold and empty bed. Only the disheveled sheets and crimson stains remained behind. Bruised shoulders confirmed the night's passion was no dream. She rubbed her throbbing, aching neck. Ferocity blazed that man took her and then dared strike her. 2 rings echoed. A message from me lit up her phone. Her gaze turned glacial as she read the incoming text. I had transferred 9 yuan with 2 words, bad review. Staring at the insult, an icy aura radiated from her body. Pure humiliation. What did that damn man think she was? She gripped the phone, her knuckles turning bone white. Yihi, pray that I never catch you again. Quelling her rage, she summoned her assistant to depart immediately. She'd come to finalize a deal with the powerful Gi Rende. A spilled drink had forced her to seek the guest room. Remembering the drug juice, killing intent flashed in her eyes. How wonderful. A trap for her. The car arrived shortly. Entering the vehicle, her assistant handed over a secret file. Miss, I investigated Ellie per your command. But strangely, no link to Jihi exists, she reported. Yunhu scanned the file, her expression turning utterly glacial. Their bond was clearly anything but ordinary. A woman of Ellie's status wouldn't be so submissive otherwise. Frustration boiled within her at the thought of them together. What other secrets was that mysterious man hiding from her? What was his true connection to the elite G family? And then, last night, she massaged her throbbing brow. She dialed my number. Listening to the agonizingly long rings, my exhausted voice answered, sounding weary and restless. Before she could speak, Ellie's voice cut through the line. Ju, who's that? Jealousy flared white-hot in Yunhu's heart. Why was Ellie with Ji Huai at dawn? Did they spend the night together? Hearing Xiaonu's voice on the line, I instantly cut the call. She tried calling back, but I'd already blocked her number. Fine. Ji Huai? You think I'm powerless against you? Sha Yunhu's lips curled into a chilling, seductive smile. Ellie watched me with a playful smirk. I simply rolled my eyes. Any news grandfather was hidden in a suburban nursing home. I nodded, changed quickly, and headed out. I arrived to find bodyguards swarming the old man's ward. Seizing a moment of silence, I slipped into the doctor's office. Minutes later, I emerged, disguised in a white coat and mask. The young master is inside. Wait. The guard barked, stopping me. I nodded, eyes glacial. Jiha Chen was surely the one inside. Within the ward, Jiao Chen forced grandfather's thumb onto the document, sealing his fate. Once he marries Ewing, this makes him the sole heir. Jiao Chen gazed at the unconscious elder and let out a chilling laugh. Grandfather, when my uncle died back then, you should have chosen my father. Your bias was your mistake. You spent years molding Jiwei into your perfect successor. But for what? He died by our hands. Don't blame us for being ruthless. Blame yourself for giving him the throne, and my wedding, I'd never permit it. Soon, I will rule this entire family. Wedding belongs only to me. Forever. Jiha Chin's cold laughter echoed. We'll build a stronger empire. Though you won't see it. To avoid any suspicion, father would have killed him already. After the wedding, he's useless. I stood in the shadows, head lowered, killing intent flashing in my eyes. Grandfather's stroke was no accident. Those two were behind it. Treacherous duo. Soon, Jiha Chen emerged. Busy on his phone. The suit is ready. Good. I'm on my way. I watched his retreating back, my gaze turning glacial. 3 days remained until the wedding of the century. I needed to prepare a truly unforgettable gift for them. A gift they'd regret. Once he left, I slipped inside. Stepping inside, I saw grandfather after 2 years. Withered under an oxygen mask, he had always been a bastion of health. Even in old age, he was stronger than most. Now, he was a mere shadow. His face pale and sallow, his life force was fading. Heart hammering. I checked his pulse. After a careful check, suspicion confirmed. It wasn't a stroke, it was cold-blooded poison. Tirene? That beast. To raise a murderous hand against his own father. May divine lightning strike his treacherous soul. I choked back my fury. Now was not the time for rage. Saving grandfather was my only priority. I fed him secret pills and slipped away before being discovered. At a nearby cafe, I called Ellie to coordinate a rescue. Once the plan was set, I hurried back to the ward. But at the ward's threshold, my blood ran cold. The guards lay unconscious, like broken dolls on the floor. And grandfather. His bed was empty. Grandfather. Panic seized my heart. He was gone. I was only gone for an hour. How could this happen? Suddenly, my phone buzzed. One look made me gasp in horror. A photo of grandfather. Killing intent flashed in my eyes as I dialed. The connection clicked open instantly. Where is he? A chillingly familiar voice answered. Miss Shia says, come to Yanten Villa if you want him alive. My spine stiffened. Rage turned my vision a violent crimson. Xia Yunhu. That snake dared to use him as bait. And remember, unblock her number immediately. The line went dead. Yantan Villa, a luxury fortress, developed by the elite Gi family. At that very moment, Xia Yunhu sat poised, her fingers dancing rapidly across her keyboard. She was hunting through scrubbed surveillance footage from the residence. Every intentionally deleted secret was being meticulously restored. Miss, the target is on his way. A cold, sharp sneer curled her lips. Within 30 minutes, I stormed into the villa. I was a powder keg, ready to explode in her face. Xia Yunhu, what have you done with my grandfather? She closed her laptop with a mocking, half smile. Who? Stop playing these pathetic games with me. The kidnapping was proof. She already knew my true identity. Her eyes narrowed like a predator's. So, Zhu? Or should I say, Jiang? My fists tightened. Jiang is my name. Ji Huai was just a shadow. During those long years in exile, an alias was my only armor to survive. She mused aloud, savoring the pieces of the puzzle. The timing of your death, and my rescue is too perfect. You're the Gi family heir, who supposedly died 2 years ago, young Master Jiang. I shrugged. No more masks. I looked her dead in the eye. Yes, I am. Now, when did you find out? My gaze turned glacial. The memory of her divorce proposal flashed. Making her brow furrow, I flashed a mocking smirk. Actually, I should thank you. Your heartlessness finally forced my hidden memories to awaken. Yunhu's expression soured at my words. Must you speak with such venom? She snapped. Why waste kindness on a cold-hearted ex-wife? Stunned, She fell silent before asking, "When did you leave last night?" I froze, my mind going blank. Mentioning last night made my blood boil with rage. Before I exploded, she stepped forward, eyes flashing. "Why was Ellie with you this morning? Answer me. Were you two fooling around all night?" Her words left me stunned. As the truth dawned, my face turned pale. Did she really not know? She seemed desperate to deny what happened between us. I stared into her eyes, heart heavy. A self-deprecating smile touched my lips. "Yes, we were together." Her body stiffened. The drug's heat still lingered in her. "If he shows Ellie, then they—" The thought burned. Yunhu snapped, wanting to tear Ellie apart herself. My husband. Spending the night in another woman's arms. Shameless, she spat. I met her glacial gaze. "Yes, I am. I was a lapdog for 2 years. No more? Thinking of that pathetic life makes me sick. I've suffered enough." Her eyes narrowed dangerously. Suddenly, she seized my arm and dragged me upstairs. I struggled to break free from her iron grip. My foot slipped. I fell, and she was too slow. My head slammed against the table with a sickening thud. The sight of my blood made her world tilt. "Get lost i snarl." Clutching my bleeding forehead, I leaned weakly against her, my strength fading. My body felt like lead. I couldn't fight back. Panic seized her as she screamed for the doctor immediately. After the examination, the verdict was grim. The wound was deep, requiring stitches. The medicine's toll remained. Pain throbbed through me, worsened by the lingering drug. Darkness claimed me. Yunhu stayed by my bedside. She watched the stitches, her frantic heart slowly cooling. Why was she so out of control? Was it truly because he was with Ellie? The drug had blurred everything into a hazy nightmare. Leaving her side was a choice that stung. She refused to admit the green monster of jealousy. A dark flame of jealousy blazed. Yang Ting strode inside. Miss Girirenda sent a messenger. The truth was finally exposed. The tea was poisoned by her hand. Xiaonu gave a cold sneer. Things weren't that simple. Girende was likely using a mere scapegoat. Detain her and dig deeper. I want the real culprit found. When my eyes finally opened, darkness had already swallowed the room. I instinctively reached for my aching brow, my fingers trembling slightly, but a glacial grip caught my wrist. My wound was already dressed, facing Shi Yunshu's arrogant face. I felt a surge of pure venom. "Why must you torment me?" Shi Yunshu sat there, silent as death. I glared at him. "Shi Yunshu, we've already signed the divorce." "Divorced. Does it matter? An ex-wife should know her place." Right. Rage boiled within Shi Yunshu. Had his legendary devotion truly died? Had he regained his memories only to turn his heart to stone? He crushed my hand. "We are still in the cooling off period. I can cancel at any time." My heart hammered against my ribs. "Don't you dare. Don't be such a heartless monster." "Shi Yunshu, you demanded this separation, and I gave you exactly that wish. Now you backtrack. I am not a toy for your selfish games." His gaze turned lethal. "Push me, and you'll regret the consequences. Don't forget, your grandfather's life still rests in my palm." The realization hit me hard. I lunged and seized his collar. "Harm a single hair on his head, and I'll destroy you, using my family as leverage." The audacity made my blood boil. Agony speaked in my skull. "Careful," he whispered, pinning me down. "The old man is already being moved back to Kyoto's heart. A medical team is waiting. He'll receive the absolute best care. Stop worrying about him entirely." He knew I'd never return if I left. This was his leash. As long as he's in Kyoto, I am bound. I'd return even from the ends of the earth. My fists tightened. "What is your endgame?" Sudden kindness always hides a sharp blade. A predatory smirk curled on his lips. After a heavy silence, he whispered, "I won't divorce you anymore." I froze. He's calling it off. Now, after all this trauma, I met his gaze with a mocking smile. "What of your first love? Don't tell me you want to play with 2 hearts now." Enough nonsense. His face darkened as a storm brewed within him. The news was a lie. He was never actually found. No wonder she suddenly abandoned the idea of our divorce. She never found her white moonlight. My gaze turned glacial. I am not a lapdog for you to summon and discard. Don't you dare treat me as some placeholder for your love." He frowned deeply. "I never saw you as a mere substitute. Save your breath. I will never be with you again." I glared at Sha Yunshu. My voice, glacial. "Yunshu, you can't force love to be sweet." She met my gaze with indifference. "Sweet or not, I'll pluck it and taste it myself first." Words failed me as a wave of suffocating irritation surged within my chest. Since when had this woman become so utterly shameless and thick-skinned? Before I could speak, Yunshu cut me off with sharp, icy precision. "Jihuai, don't misunderstand my intentions." Threatening my grandfather again. "Fine. Yunshu, you've certainly got the upper hand. No divorce then. Fine. Let's see who breaks first in this game." To her, I was likely just a passing whim, a new toy to possess. The more I resisted, the more her obsession seemed to ignite. She craved conquest. If I stayed obedient, she'd surely grow bored and discard me. Realizing this, I fell into a heavy, resigned silence. Yunshu checked her watch. "Are you hungry? Shall I get you something?" I shook my head and turned away, feigning sleep as I closed my eyes. Without another word, she turned and strode out of the room. Downstairs, my phone suddenly erupted into a sharp ring on the table. Yunshu snatched it up, her eyes narrowing at the caller identity. "Ellie." Yunshu's grip tightened, her entire being radiating a murderous, glacial aura. After a tense silence, she finally pressed the answer button. A frantic voice rang out. "Jihuai, I've arrived at the nursing home. Where's the old man?" Jihuai. Yunshu's voice cut through like a blade. "He's with me." Ellie froze in shock before screaming through the line. "Sha Yunshu, you snake. Where have you taken Jihuai?" Yunshu's tone remained flat. "He is my husband. Naturally. He is home." Ellie snapped back instantly. "Yunshu, have you no shame? Need I remind you? You're divorced. You were the one who demanded the split." Her voice turned lethal. "So what, without papers? He is still mine." "Ellie, stay away from my man. This is your final warning." She ended the call abruptly, refusing to hear another word. As she hung up, her assistant, Yang Ting, hurried toward her. "The residence surveillance has been restored. Miss, it's on your phone now." Yunshu pulled out her phone, witnessing the footage of me leaving the estate. The timestamp read 5:36. She found a deleted clip from the second-floor hallway. She saw Lin Badian enter the room at 5:56. Comparing the videos, a shocking realization struck Yunshu like a bolt of lightning. A sharp light flashed in her eyes. When she had awakened that morning, it was past 6. Lin Batian only entered after I'd already gone. The man in her bed last night had actually been me. She searched her memory as blurry fragments of the night began to resurface. It was Jihuai. Every touch, every moment, it was truly him. She had been wrong. Looking upstairs, her eyes flooded with crushing regret. Why had he remained silent? Why no explanation? Did she matter so little that he couldn't even be bothered to explain? Yang Ting gazed at the pensive Sha Yunshu. "Miss, the investigation is complete. The toxin Granny gave Lin Batian was hidden in the tea. As for the messenger, Gren sent, he is merely a sacrificial lamb." Sha Yunshu shut the video, her gaze glacial. "Terminate all G family cooperation. Blacklist any company that still dares to associate with them." Realizing it was late and he hadn't eaten yet, she ordered the maid to prepare porridge and light side dishes for him, but before Sha Yunshu could finish her instructions, a maid's frantic voice echoed from upstairs. Mister." G jumped out the window. Sha Yunshu rushed to the bedroom, but the room was already empty. After escaping the villa, I crossed paths with Ellie on the road, learning she used Grandpa G to stop the divorce. Ellie's blood boiled. If she's a problem? Ellie made a chilling, sharp, throat-slitting gesture. Just eliminate her. You can be a wealthy widower again. I was speechless. Despite everything, Sha Yunshu had saved my life once. To do that would be ungrateful. Ellie just smirked at me teasingly. I'm joking. But an innocent-looking devil like you cares about gratitude. Gee, you've fallen for her, haven't you? I remained silent, my jaw tightening. I didn't want to admit it, but my heart belonged to her. Even with my memories back, those feelings refused to fade away. Ellie warned, "She isn't one of us." I cut her off instantly. I know that better than anyone. That was exactly the problem. I couldn't allow myself to be entangled with Sha Yunshu any longer. Determined to divorce, I retreated to a hotel to change my clothes. I needed to vent, but the Ice Queen was relentless. She tracked me to my hotel. Just as she arrived, she saw me roar away in a sports car. "Follow that car," she commanded the driver, her eyes narrowing dangerously. 30 minutes later, I stopped before a suspicious place, weathered dive bar. As I vanished inside, she moved to follow through the neon haze. Beneath this street lay the city's most notorious underground fighting ring. This unremarkable bar was merely a front for the bloodlust below. Sha Yunshu pushed inside, met by the suffocating stench of cheap booze. It was 3 a.m., the peak hour for this den of chaos. Amidst the deafening heavy metal music, I was nowhere to be seen. "What can I get for you, miss?" The waiter studied her expensive attire, sensing she didn't belong in this gutter. Without a word, she produced a mysterious, transparent card from her bag. The waiter's eyes widened as he verified the high-level security code. He led her to a hidden elevator. "Level 3, turn left." Sha Yunshu gave a cold nod and entered the steel cage. The doors opened to level 3, greeted by a roar of cheering. Stepping out, the Ice Queen was met with a brutal sight. A giant boxing ring stood in the center of the chaos. Above the ring, Arsen's legendary records flashed across the massive digital screens. The arena overflowed with elite high rollers and wealthy foreign tycoons. Every face in the crowd twisted with a sickening, bloodthirsty frenzy. Yunshu navigated the chaos, her eyes fixed on the exclusive VIP section. She scanned the spectators desperately, but he was nowhere to be found. Was her intuition wrong? Had he actually refused to come? This newcomer must be insane to challenge a monster like Arsen. He'll be crushed into pulp. He won't last 10 minutes against him. 10 minutes. He'll be unconscious within 3. Make it 1. Arsen will end him with a single blow. As the crowd jeered, the screen flickered to reveal the challenger's name. Shock paralyzed Yunshu. The name displayed was none other than Xuan Ying. Even a novice like her knew this mythical titan of the ring. His reign in Europe's underground had birthed an era of legends. Whispers of his invincible streak still haunt every dark arena in Europe. She couldn't believe a domestic ring had summoned such a god-tier fighter. The legendary Xuan Ying. Are my eyes deceiving me? Is that truly Xuan Ying? He retired years ago. Why reappear in this arena? His name commanded terror. He was the king of kings in combat. Xuan Ying attained legendary status the moment he reached maturity. His explosive iron fists crushing the entire European underground circuit, he retired with a flawlessly undefeated record. The entire stadium froze in absolute shock. The referee emerged, followed by Arsen's mountain-like, intimidating presence. Tension thickened as a golden-masked figure stepped from the dark shadows. A deceptively slender frame, but his glacial eyes burned with a terrifying, soulless intensity. Betting pools on the screen began to spiral out of control. The stakes exploded from millions to tens of billions as numbers soared. Horror struck Yunshu. That silhouette. It was definitely Ji Huai. Despite the mask, his stance was unmistakable to her eyes. Ji Huai. "Stop!" she screamed, desperately clawing her way toward the ring's edge. Has he completely lost his mind? He was bleeding just hours ago. Now he's choosing this suicide mission? Ji Huai. Get down now. She fought against the wall of bodies, but the frenzy was impenetrable. The bell chimed. The dance of death had finally begun. As the bell rang, I surged forward like a jagged, lethal thunderbolt. My fists rained down like leaden storms upon his face. Arsen didn't budge. Arsen growled, pivoting instantly with a monstrous, crushing counter-strike. As his massive fist aimed for my skull, Yunshu's heart hammered, but I slipped through his guard like a ghostly, flickering shadow. I vaulted skyward, driving a soul-shattering, heavy blow directly into his ribs. Arsen buckled, a guttural groan escaping his twisted, pained lips. Deafening roars shook the entire arena. Madness surged as Arson's eyes blazed crimson. Every strike carried lethal, murderous intent. Yet, I danced through his clumsy rage. Dozen blows later, he looked utterly mangled. Meanwhile, not a single hair was displaced. A slaughter, not a fight pure. One-sided brutality. This execution reached its swift end. One spinning kick sent him flying into darkness. The crowd erupted, screaming my legendary name. Bathed in light, I stood dead center. My face loomed large, the hidden identity confirmed. Witnessing this god-tier clash felt like destiny. What divine luck to behold such power. Is the king returning? My heart races? Waves of adoration crashed against the ring. Only Yunshu froze, her chest caving in. Why were his eyes so hauntingly hollow? Since he first stepped onto the stage, his white-knuckled fists never once relaxed. Pursed lips betrayed a soul-crushing suppressed agony. The chaotic noise grated against my nerves. I gazed coldly toward the VIP seats. A familiar shadow flickered, then I vanished. Outside, Yunshu waited by my car. Was that silhouette really her in there? She beckoned, her eyes searching for truth. My blood boiled as irritation flared again. She marched forward, breaking the heavy silence. Yunshu, what game are you playing? I should ask you, she snapped, grabbing me. Are you insane? You're still badly injured. She hadn't expected such overwhelming, divine strength. Terror for my wounds had consumed her. What if your body finally broke? Her heart hammered. She almost stormed the ring. I flashed a glacial, mocking smile. Without your nagging, I'd have forgotten. Rage choked her, suffocating and sharp. Remember, I still hold your grandfather's life. Killing intent flashed behind my gritted teeth. Vile woman. I suppressed the urge to strike. I climbed inside, yielding to her demand. Yunshu took the wheel in tense silence. Her suspicious gaze lingered on my feigned sleep. Ji? Just how many masks are you wearing? She whispered. He was the Gi family's sole heir. The legendary Jiang, the invincible boxing king. Xuanying. Also him. How deep did his secrets go? My eyes snapped open, glacial and guarded. A faint smirk played on my lips. Take a guess. Shunshu murmured. Herr Hazel lingering on me. I'm listening, whenever you're ready. We reached the villa just as dawn broke. The gash on my forehead had reopened, blood seeping out slowly. I redressed the wound and downed 2 pills to dull the pain. Breakfast was tasteless. I flicked on the TV, only to see those two. Mr. G. Rumors say that after the wedding bells ring, your 2 powerful families will forge an unbreakable business empire. Can you reveal the secrets behind this massive merger? The Ji and Jiang families share generations of history. Our business alliance has stood the test of time. Becoming in-laws only cements our absolute dominance in the market. Whispers of a total corporate merger are everywhere today. Jiha squeezed Yuing's hand affectionately. Even I don't know everything. Our fathers are the ones orchestrating this grand alliance. Yuing smiled at the camera. The world will see our power on the wedding day. Miss Jiang, are you simply marrying him to honor a cold family contract? Is your heart still mourning your deceased fiancé? The late Jiang. At the mention of Jiang, Yuing's perfect expression flickered with annoyance. Jiang, I only ever saw him as a brother figure. Our engagement was nothing but a burden forced by our elders. I planned to end it once he matured. But then, fate was cruel to that so-called heroic genius. Jihaochen bowed his head, playing the role of the grieving cousin perfectly. My poor, pitiful cousin. He turned to his fiancée with a gaze full of fabricated devotion. Our union isn't about business. It's about pure, unadulterated love. Yuing is my everything. We're marrying for love. And love alone. I glared at the TV. A cold, predatory sneer carving my face. True love. What a pathetic joke. She conveniently forgot how she used to crawl after me. I never loved her. But a contract is still a contract. She makes me look like a desperate stray. This insult. I won't swallow it. I can't wait to see how deep their little romance really goes. Sudden footsteps echoed from outside, breaking my dark thoughts. I'm Lin Baishan. Tell Yunshu her friend is waiting for her downstairs. I arched an eyebrow. Lin Batian, Jiha's cousin, a man drenched in designer labels, strutted into the room. Lin Batian didn't recognize my face at all. Finding a man in Yunshu's private villa clearly caught him off guard. Seeing me in my pajamas, his expression twisted into a dark scowl. "Who the hell are you?" he barked, pointing a finger at me. The servant led Lin Batian in 20 announcing, "Behold, Miss Yunshu's husband." Lin Batian froze mind blank. "What? This is Yunshu's hidden husband. Don't the rumors say her secret groom is a hideous monster? But he wasn't ugly, he was breathtaking." "So, you're the one she married." He quickly recomposed himself, his smile turning glacial and full of venom. "Correction. I should say you're Yunshu's pathetic ex-husband." He'd heard from friends that the couple had already signed divorce papers. He felt no fear toward a man already discarded by Yunshu. With that thought, his gaze turned arrogant. "She dumped you. Why are you still shamelessly pestering her?" "Isaihu," feigning a look of deep distress. "Who says I'm pestering her? Clearly, she's the one obsessed with me, clinging like a shadow and never letting go." Lin Batian's voice went shrill. "Nonsense, just look at yourself. How could you claim Yunshu is obsessively in love with you? You're delusional." I yawned, waving my hand. "Ugh, so noisy. Someone, throw him out. I'm exhausted after a long, sleepless night." Fatigue hit me hard as I stood to head upstairs for rest. Lin Batian's face contorted, turning a sickly green with boiling rage. He stormed over and shoved a finger right in my face. "You're just discarded trash. How dare you act superior to me? I am Yunshu's future husband." I raised an eyebrow, gazing at him. "You still want to be her husband. In your dreams." He pulled out photos taken while she was asleep. "Look, if that man in black hadn't interrupted us that night, he would have claimed Yunshu for himself by now. With these photos, he knew she couldn't deny their closeness." I glanced at the screen, and my expression darkened instantly. There was Yunshu, defenseless and asleep in the bed. And there he was, holding her with a sickeningly sweet smile. "When did this happen?" Before I could react, he barked arrogantly. "Open your eyes. I'm becoming the Shah family's new son-in-law. Soon, you won't even be worthy of carrying my luggage." I loathe being pointed at, especially by a piece of trash like him. I lunged, grabbing his wrist and twisting it with savage force. A sickening crack echoed. He collapsed, clutching his wrist in agony. I smirked coldly. "You think sleeping your way in makes you a son-in-law? As long as I draw breath, you'll never have her. Never." "Well said." Yunshu's voice rang out, followed by rhythmic applause. I turned to see her descending the stairs. A beaming smile. My display of possessiveness had clearly delighted her. I snorted. Crossing my arms as I slumped onto the sofa, I watched to see her reaction. Lin Batian looked at her. "Hopeful." "Yunshu," he cried. Her eyes narrowed with sharp intent. "Lin Batian, I intended to end you soon. To think you'd rush toward your own grave? But the snake had a hidden card. He'd actually dared to take those photos. This trash truly had a death wish." Lin Batian shivered as Yunshu's glacial aura suffocated him. "Wait, Yunshu, let me explain. I only came because my heart ached for you." She sneered, refusing to waste another second on such a pathetic insect. "Drag him away. Break him until every truth spills from his mouth." "Understood," the guards roared. Lin Batian's face drained of all color in pure terror. "Yunshu, please, I was wrong to snap those pictures. Spare me." He screamed for mercy, struggling uselessly against the iron grip of the bodyguards. At last, they hauled the garbage out. As his howls faded, I turned to Yunshu with a sharp, mocking grin. "You shared a bed once, yet you're this cold-blooded. How merciless." She met my gaze, her voice ice-cold. "You left early the night before last. That rat crept in and took those shots while I was still unconscious. He didn't lay a finger on me. He is absolutely nothing to me." Her words eased the weight on my chest. Yet I kept my mask of indifference. "Don't bother. I don't care." With those words, I turned and stormed upstairs. I collapsed onto the bed, but sleep remained a distant, Impossible dream. I buried myself under the blankets, holding my breath in the stifling dark. I endured the agonizing stabs in my chest, counting each thundering heartbeat. Damn! The poison in my blood was awakening a curse dormant for 2 years. Without my medicine, I had no choice but to suffer through the hellish pain. Suddenly, a soft presence pressed against me. Delicate. Slender hands reached through the darkness. Are you trying to suffocate yourself in here? Yunshu's voice drifted in as she pulled me from my cocoon. Seeing my flushed, breathless face, her eyes flared with a mix of fury and concern. My eyes flickered. Whenever this agony surged, I craved only the silence of the shadows. When I remained silent, she began to shed her clothes right before me. My vision blurred. Yunshu, what are you doing? Surely she wasn't serious about. She simply smirked and pulled me into her embrace. Sleep. My nerves snapped as I jolted upright, glaring at her in a seething rage. Yunshu merely met my furious gaze with unshakable calm. Desire flickered in her eyes as her fingers traced tantalizing patterns across my chest. If sleep isn't what you crave, I can find other ways to occupy your time. She gently stroked my burning cheek, like what we did the other night. I froze. Have you lost your mind? For 2 years of marriage, you wouldn't even let me touch your hand. Now that it's over, you do this. Her gaze dropped to the mark on my neck. I woke up alone yesterday. My minda fog? I couldn't recall a single thing. I thought you'd abandoned me for her. Until I saw the security footage, you stayed with me until the break of dawn. I cut her off before she could say another word. We both got what we wanted. Yunshu frowned, clearly frustrated by my cold dismissal. Why did she feel like the one being discarded and left behind? Her gaze was glacial. Take responsibility for me right now. I sneered coldly. I've given you countless chances over the years. You failed to cherish them. It's too late. Sha Yunshu's eyes mirrored a deep, unreadable abyss. The heat from last night felt hauntingly familiar to her soul. She needed absolute certainty. Isaihil, reaching for my phone to transfer the cold, hard cash. Speak. How much do you want? Sha Yunshu's brow furrowed in visible disgust. He was actually trying to pay her off. 50,800. 200. I pressed on, seeing her face darken in silence. I deepened my frown, radiating pure, icy disdain. Even Kyoto's most expensive models don't charge more than 100,000 for a single night. And, yet, you still think 200,000 is too little. Finally, Sha Yunshu's mask shattered as her fury boiled over. He was treating her like an escort. This man possessed a lethal talent for inciting her rage. I cast a sideways glance. Fine, if you don't want it, don't expect anything from me. Her presence felt like a toxin. He rolled over, turning my cold back to her completely. Out of sight, out of mind. Sha Yunshu watched my back in a heavy, suffocating silence. That familiar sensation. It was becoming impossible for her to ignore. Time stretched until my breathing grew shallow and even lost in the rhythm of deep sleep. Sensing I was finally out, Sha Yunshu prepared to confirm the one thing she needed. She gently lifted my shirt, exposing my skin. She searched, but only disappointment surfaced in her eyes. A heavy, silent sigh echoed deep within her heart. Though the passion from 2 nights ago felt exactly like that fateful night 5 years prior, he wasn't the one. There was no legendary tattoo on my bare back. Yunshu smoothed my clothes, her beautiful eyes swirling with complexity as she studied my sleeping profile. A moment later, Yunshu leaned in, embracing me softly and pressing a tender kiss to my neck. It's okay. Even if you aren't him. Suddenly, I shifted, rolling over to pull her closer. In this vulnerable state of sleep, it was impossible to reconcile me with that brutal boxing king. Xuanying, that monster of explosive power, was gone. Yunshu watched my face, her heart hammering as a feverish blush bloomed. Driven by her racing pulse, she scrambled toward the bathroom for an icy, cold shower. Stepping out, damp and shivering, Sha Yunshu craved just a bit more time with me. Suddenly, a chaotic roar of shouting erupted from the villa's ground floor. drawn to the commotion. Sha Yunshu stepped out onto the balcony. Below stood Ellie, leading 2 units of black-clad enforcers who had surrounded the villa entrance. Sha Yunshu, get your miserable self out here right now. Ellie had woken at dawn to find my room empty. The security feeds had confirmed her worst fears. She'd traced my car to the underground fighting pits. I'd been seeking blood in the dead of night. 8 years of history meant Ellie knew my soul better than anyone else on Earth. My silent departure for the ring meant only one thing. The shadows of my illness were returning. Ellie called repeatedly, but no one answered. She tracked the bar's exterior footage and saw the unthinkable. I had been taken by Sha Yunshu. Seething with fury, Ellie bypassed breakfast and led her men to lay siege to the villa. Sha Yunshu? Stop playing dead. I know you're in there. Surrender, Jiyoung, or I'll force my way in. You're his ex-wife. Stop clinging to the man you discarded. Have you no shame? Ellie's voice was raspy from screaming when Sha Yunshu finally emerged. Like a predator, Ellie lunged toward her. Xiaonu's eyes narrowed glacially. He's resting. Are you even worthy of uttering his name? Ellie's icy gaze sharply narrowed. She realized Shuyun was in pajamas. Jihuai was still deep in his slumber. They spent the night together. Jealousy made Ellie's blood boil. If not for the iron gates, Ellie's killing intent would have shredded her. Chunu, don't dream of using the patriarch to chain Jihuai to you. He never yields to threats. Ellie crossed her arms with absolute, icy certainty. This farce of a marriage will shatter very soon. Xiunu's expression darkened, her aura turning dangerously cold. Seeing her rival's disdain, Ellie drew a checkbook from her luxury bag. Just name your price. How much wealth will buy your divorce? Shuyun sneered. Did she look like she needed money? Why was everyone trying to bribe her with pocket change? Seeing her silence, Ellie sneered. Perhaps simple cash isn't enough for you. I'll give you a diamond mine. A treasure money cannot buy. Hey, I'm not finished. Don't you dare walk away. Shuyun ignored her completely. Back inside, she immediately contacted the powerful Victor Amir. Moments later, Ellie's phone buzzed with a call from her sister. What return now? Fine? I will head back to the estate immediately. Call ended. Ellie messaged about urgent business before rushing her entourage toward the airport. On the balcony, Shuyun swirled, hair wine, watching her enemy flee. Her red lips curved. I enjoyed 2 days of peace in the villa. 2 days later, the fated wedding of the century finally arrived. Jihaochen and Yuting were the sole heirs of their legendary bloodlines. A real-life prince and princess. A match forged in the heavens. The ceremony took place at the opulent manor's most exclusive hotel. The guest list was a sea of powerful elites and commercial titans. This grand wedding was the peak of high-profile luxury. Media flooded the venue while a live broadcast shared the spectacle. The church is like a dream. A true fairy tale castle. Their wedding rings are rumored to be worth hundreds of millions. I wonder how breathtaking the bride will look today. The digital crowd roared with excitement, flooding the live stream with comments. They were more desperate for the vows than the groom himself. As the elite gathered, the clock struck 11 in the morning. A solemn priest stood ready to bind their destinies together. Jihaochen strode forward in a sharp suit to a romantic melody. The church's massive doors slowly swung open at last. Yuting stood there, draped in a custom, diamond-encrusted white gown, a noble vision of breathtaking, mesmerizing beauty. Jihaochen's heart swelled with triumph as their eyes finally met. Years of waiting were over. My father was right. Destiny is mine. Even if she was his rival's once, she was now his. With that thought, Jihaochen lifted his chin high, a smug glint in his eyes while approaching Zhang Yuing. Meeting on the carpet, they walked arm in arm toward the priest. Groom Jihaochen, do you take Miss Zhang Yuing as your wife? In prosperity or adversity? In wealth or poverty? Health or sickness? Will you cherish her and remain faithful for all eternity? Zhang Yuing gripped his hand, gazing at him with devotion. Right then, the cathedral doors burst open, slammed by a powerful force. Every head snapped toward the entrance in stunned silence. A man stood there, framed by light, radiating a glacial aura. He was flawless, like a cold moon rising over the abyss. His mere presence made even the stars fade into nothingness. Good heavens. Is that him? Is he here for revenge? His elegance completely overshadowed the groom's supposed big day. He looked strangely familiar. I strode forward, one step at a time. My imposing aura and sharp looks left everyone utterly speechless. Approaching the altar, the couple finally saw my face clearly. His eyes bulged, staring in sheer disbelief at the ghost approaching him. He died 2 years ago. How could he be alive? A graceful, confident smirk played on my lips. It's been 2 years. Forgotten me? Cousin Jihaochen pointed, his face pale with shock. He was actually still breathing. Beside him, Jiang Yuing froze, looking like she'd seen a demon. Around them, the family members' faces twisted into masks of dread. I chuckled mockingly. My survival must be quite the disappointment. Turning to the prestigious guests, I offered a cold greeting. I am the rightful eldest grandson of the Gi family. 2 years ago, I survived a brutal ambush. Despite the rumors, I've returned to claim my title. Ji Fang, the heir, lives, standing nearby. Gi Rende's face turned a sickly, ashen gray. He gnashed his teeth without my death. His ambitions were shattered. He inhaled sharply. He buried his rage and stood with a hypocritical mask. Xiaowang, it's a miracle you've returned from the grave. Your second uncle was devastated when the news broke years ago. I met his gaze coldly. Is that right? How touching. Uncle. He forced a strained smile, reaching out like a caring relative. Of course, but today is your cousin's sacred wedding day. We should discuss our family matters once we're safely home. He couldn't let me ruin this. I coldly swatted his hand. My eyes drifted leisurely toward the trembling bride and groom. Family business can certainly wait until after this farce. Jihaochen's heart hammered. Was the heir here to reclaim his woman? His possessive grip tightened. He'd never let her go. Panic flared as Jihaochen blurted, Brother Jiang, I'm sorry. I know you were engaged, but during these past 2 years, we thought you died. Yuding loves me now. And I, her. Just bless us. Ji Rende urged with a greasy, fake smile. Sao Wang. Listen, they never intended to hurt you at all. They only found love after you died. Please, just step aside. I met their eyes with a faint, chillingly calm smile. I'm not here to part you lovers. Haochen's eyes sparked. Then why? I pulled a ring out, handing it to her. This is the Jiang family token from our engagement long ago. Since you love him, our engagement is officially over now. From today, we are strangers. May we never meet again. Yuding took the ring, her face frozen in utter disbelief. She expected a scene, or for me to halt the wedding. Instead, I ended things gracefully and returned her family's token. Haochen stared at me, his face flooded with sudden relief. Thank you. Brother nearby. Ji Rende's face wore a fake smile. I knew you were sensible. Come. Sit down. No rush. I cut him off, turning my glacial gaze toward the Jiangs. Since the engagement is dead, our family's cooperation ends today. There is no longer any reason for our businesses to partner. Furthermore, return the $1 billion betrothal gift within 7 days. Period. Yuding's father, Jiang Wenjian, suddenly bolted to his feet. That deal was set by the elder. You can't cancel it. You have zero right to terminate this agreement. His mother glared sharply. That billion was a gift from him. On what grounds must we pay it back? I stared them down, my voice dripping with icy venom. As the G heir, I hold 40% of all equity. I have every right. That billion was my personal betrothal gift, and I have the legal paper trail to prove it. Now that I've officially dumped your daughter, law and morality demand its return. If you doubt, call lawyers. Suddenly, her greedy eyes flickered, and she grabbed my hand. Xiaowang, I know you're hurt, but they aren't even legally married yet. Haochen's blood ran cold as she spoke those words. He panicked. Mom, what on earth are you saying? She gave him a cold, mocking smile. You aren't married. It is far too early to call me mother. Without Jiang, Haochen would have been the only sole heir. Marrying him was a win until Jiang returned from the dead. Jiang was the true king, the one holding all power. Ji Haochen was nothing compared to Jiang. Yueding needed to marry the true heir. Ji Haochen's face shifted between a ghostly pale and a livid, sickly green. Madame Jiang yanked her daughter away, claiming her for the superior match. Yueting, you and Jiang are clearly a golden match made in heaven. Apologize to Jiang immediately. This wedding is over, cancel it now. Ji Rende seethed with such fury that his blood boiled over. Suddenly, Jiang Wenjin leaned in and whispered a dark secret in his ear. Their eyes met in a silent, chilling pact of mutual understanding. Yueding, what are you doing? Her mother snapped, shoving her forward. Apologize to Jiang this instant, put the ring on his finger. Jiang Yueding gazed at her former fiancé, calculating her next heartless play. She liked Ji Haochen, but without the Ji family's power and legacy, his attraction faded instantly. He was now worthless in her eyes. She approached me, masking her greed, with a breathtaking display of guilt. Jiang, I'm so sorry. I truly believed you had perished. You've always held my heart. Let's honor our original engagement. Okay. The bouquet slipped from Ji Haochen's trembling fingers as his world shattered. We were minutes from marriage. Yet you abandoned me for him. Jiang, why on earth are you still alive? He glared at me, his gaze like a venomous snake's striking tongue. I felt his killing intent, but it only fueled my inner fire. I would let him watch his beautiful dream turn into a nightmare. Yueding tried to grab my hand, but I slapped it away instantly. I stepped back, my eyes glacial and filled with pure disgust. Miss Jiang, I don't recycle trash. Yueding froze in total shock. Mockery erupted from the crowd. The Gi family heir was too proud. His aura was too noble to ever accept such a fickle woman. The Jiang family's behavior was truly a pathetic, unsightly display. Only an old friendship between grandmothers allowed her this chance. How could she ever think she deserved the Gi family's young master? Yueding clenched her fists, humiliation burning like a physical blow. To think, she was being labeled as mere trash. Yahello. Mother Jiang's face flushed a deep crimson, her eyes blazing with rage. How dare you speak to her like that? Where is your upbringing? I met her gaze coldly. You aren't worthy of my manners. I wouldn't waste another second, and gave them one final warning. Transfer $1 billion to my account within 7 days. If you're a single penny short, we'll settle this in court. Unless your family is too destitute to produce $1 billion, in that case, I might grant you a few days of grace. Jiang Wenjin was stunned, his hatred for me reaching a boiling point. Admitting they lacked the funds would mean their ultimate downfall. Within 3 days, the news would spread like a wildfire. Every partner would withdraw, leaving their entire empire in ruins. Desperate to save face, the old man quickly calculated his response. The Jiang family values honor and never exploits others. Rest assured, $1 billion will be transferred within 1 week. I nodded, satisfied. Publicly, Jiang Wen wouldn't dare default on his massive debt. Continue your wedding? I've caused enough of a scene. My cold gaze shifted toward Gu Rende. Return home soon. Uncle, we have family scores to settle. As I left, Gi Chen fainted from sheer boiling rage. He strode out, completely indifferent. A sleek black supercar glided to a halt before me. Xiaonu's glacial face appeared, letting them off so easily. Though outside, she hadn't missed a single moment. The live broadcast showed her everything. I smiled mysteriously. Do I look merciful? Xiaonu admired my domineering aura. Where to? I'll drive. I simply replied. No need. I preferred to keep our complex relationship shrouded in mystery. Suddenly, a Land Rover roared toward us like lightning. Tires shrieked as the vehicle stopped before Xiaonu. A rugged man with eyes like steel stepped out. He looked 30. Surprise flashed in Shi Yunshu's eyes at that battle-hardened face. It was Shuaishi, chairman of the American Earl Security Group. More importantly, he led the most formidable mercenary corps. They had crossed paths 5 years ago in South Africa. Shuishi stood perfectly straight before me with deep, unwavering respect. Boss. It has been long. Xiaonu's eyes widened. He called him boss. Why are you here? Ellie mentioned you were alone. So, I came to assist. He opened the door. But Shi Yunshu lunged and grabbed my hand. Instantly, Shuishi blurred forward. His killing intent thick and suffocating. Stand down. I patted the warrior's shoulder. He's no threat. Shuishi silently retreated. His eyes still sharp. Shi Yunshu's face turned glacial. What is he to you? I spoke plainly. As you see, he is my subordinate and friend. Her expression darkened. First Ellie, and now this mercenary king. I coldly brushed off her hand. Losing patience. Stop pestering me. Shi Yunshu, go back to your business. The words stung. They were the same lines she once gave me. Fine. But you must return to my villa tonight. She swallowed her pride, forcing her voice to remain calm. She feared more pressure would drive me away forever. I gave her a fleeting glance. We'll see, I replied coldly. I vanished into the back of Shuishi's car. She dialed a number. Watch Gurenda. Guard the Gu residence closely. 2 years ago, that man tried to kill me. Now that I've returned, his desperate counterattack is coming. My sudden return shattered the union between Jiha Chen and Jiang Yuing, turning their wedding into a total disaster. After collapsing in shock, Jiha Chen awoke in a hospital bed, his mind consumed by my interference. I'll slaughter him, he shrieked the moment he came to, his voice dripping with murderous venom. Ji Rende placed a heavy hand on his son's trembling shoulder. Jiha Chen, have you already forgotten the cold lessons I've hammered into your head? Maintain your composure. Rage is useless. But father, he ruined the most important day of my life. Gripping his son's hand, Ji Rende's eyes narrowed. That brat was simply lucky to survive 2 years ago. A man's fortune doesn't last forever. His luck is about to run bone dry. Killing intent flashed in Ji Rende's eyes. Rest easy. My son, vengeance is coming. This time, I will personally ensure that Jiang is buried 6 feet under for good. Once his son was settled, Ji Rende strode out of the room with a glacial expression. The Jiang family stood, waiting in the corridor, their eyes boring into him as he approached. What game are you playing? Jiang Ji Ranne snapped, while Jiang Wenjan's gaze turned razor sharp. Come now, Brother Ji, you have always been a man of high intellect. The wedding chaos was a mere setback. Remember, we are bound by the same dark fate now. Betrayal serves neither of us. Ji Rende arched an eyebrow, his aura radiating cold suspicion. We must focus on a single goal, erasing our common enemy. Meanwhile, across the city, flanked by legal counsel, I stormed the headquarters, seizing control with a ruthless, lightning-fast strike. Throughout the 2 long years of my forced disappearance, Ji Rende had infested every key position in the company with his spineless, greedy relatives. My first act as the rightful heir, I purged every single one of those leeches immediately. I terminated every contract with the Jiang Group before driving back to the Ji family estate. The moment I crossed the threshold of the ancestral manor, there sat Ji Rende, sipping tea as if he still owned the place. Apologies for the delay. Uncle, looming on the central sofa, my uncle glared at me with eyes full of poisonous resentment. Sean, have you no respect? You return and immediately dismantle my entire legacy. Do you enjoy spitting in my face like this? How can I face the clan now? I let out a sharp, mocking sneer at his plea. You honestly believe there is still a place for you within these walls? Ji Rende froze, his mind struggling to process my words before I dropped the final hammer. For hiring Black Shark to end my life, the Ji family will never grant you mercy. Worse yet, you dared to poison grandfather, nearly sending him to an early grave. Death is too kind for you. Blood drained from his face as terror gripped his heart. He thought his crimes were hidden. A predatory smirk played on my lips as I watched him tremble. From my earliest days, grandfather drilled it into me. As the sole heir and future patriarch of the Ji clan, I must never fear conflict nor show misplaced kindness. Kindness is repaid in kind. Vengeance is absolute. Ji Rende lurched to his feet, his finger shaking as he pointed it at me. It was you. You were the one who saved the old master that night. I leaned back casually. Precisely. Now, Uncle, I'm going to offer you two very simple paths. Choice one by tomorrow morning. You and your son surrender to the authorities and rot in a prison cell for eternity. Or, end your life in the ancestral hall tonight. And Jiha Chen must shatter his own hands. Our clan laws strictly forbid kin from spilling the blood of their own brothers. Without those rules, I would have granted him no choice at all. Shi Rende's gaze flickered with malice, his face a storm of shifting emotions. Surrender, suicide, absurd. I'm carving a third path through this mess. Just another puppet dancing to Jiren's desperate strings. He expected his backyard assassins to storm in and end this instantly, but only silence answered. Jiren's screams for help echoed into a void. Terrified by the eerie stillness, he scrambled toward the backyard to investigate. A sea of corpses greeted him, his elite guards slaughtered like livestock. A lone figure in leather stood amidst the carnage, completely unmoved. His gaze was glacial, devoid of any human warmth or mercy. Eyes like a reaper's stare sent a lethal chill down Rende's spine. These were his hand-picked elites, warriors reduced to mere bloody statistics, wiped out without a sound. Jiren's finger shook as he choked out a question. Who? What are you? He stammered, staring at the shadow. Sure. She remained silent, her suffocating, killing intent crushing the very air. Rende lunged for his weapon, but a sudden gale eclipsed his vision. His holster was empty, the steel snatched by an invisible force. A blur of motion later. A cold, dark barrel was pressed against his skull. He gasped, his voice thin. What? What do you want from me? I stepped past the threshold, glancing at the bodies with eyes cold as frost. Jushi's voice cut through the tension. Boss, shall I end this person? With a simple gesture, I signaled him to lower the weapon. Ren, you have one night. Decide, or I'll decide for you by noon. I turned my back on the coward and vanished with Shushi. Rende collapsed, his fists white-knuckled. He'd made a fatal mistake, underestimating me. I am the sole heir. Forged in fire by the old master's hands, mere luck. Didn't help me survive Black Shark's bloodbath 2 years ago. Trembling, Renda dialed young Venjian. His last hope for survival. The mission failed. He's guarded by a monster. A god of death. Quietly killing him is impossible now. Relax. Brother G, I have a plan. I've summoned an elite predator from the legendary Insect organization. The killer is inbound. The brat won't live to see the sunrise. A sinister relief washed over Rende. Finally, the tide was turning. Insect. The pinnacle of murder. Far transcending the amateurs at Black Shark. They demand a king's ransom and only hunt the most dangerous prey. 2 long, bloody years ago. Jiren lacked the connections then. But now, his reach had finally grown. A dark confidence bloomed in his chest. He felt untouchable once more. Jue, your funeral starts tonight. Meanwhile, Suhei broke the silence outside. Boss, those bodies in the backyard, that wasn't my doing. Not you, I frowned. She confirmed someone else had already cleared the path. A sharp horn blast shattered the tension before I could respond. I looked up to see Shunshu's sleek car idling nearby. Shuashi's eyes narrowed with venomous jealousy. That woman. Again. Ellie's warning rang. True, this persistent woman refused to stay away. Shia Yunu stepped out, her eyes searching mine for any sign of injury. Was it you? I asked. Did you handle those thugs in the house? Xia Yunhu didn't even flinch. Offering no denial, she knew my strength, especially with a master like Sui guarding me. Still, she took no chances. Her overprotective meddling almost earned my resentment. She even planned to wipe Gren off the map entirely. Time to go home. Exhaustion weighed on me. Silencing any urge to argue, she trailed behind us, her cold expression darkening like a storm. You seriously want him staying under my roof? I arched an eyebrow. Got a problem with that. Her face twisted with sheer annoyance. Fine. I reached for the door. Fine. We will just find a hotel. Suddenly, she slammed the door. Drive. Yang Ting instantly floored it, terrified of her glacial aura. 20 minutes later, we reached the villa. A guest room was prepared. Later that night, I found Sui training hard in the courtyard. 3 years had passed. It was time to test his lethal edge. We clashed, testing each other's strength in a fierce spar. As she descended, she saw us locked in combat. The duel ended quickly. Ultimately, I stood victorious over the mercenary leader, Hending me vater. She cast a mocking gaze at the defeated warrior. I expected a legendary mercenary leader. Seems I was overestimating you. Sui glared back. Every technique I possess was forged by the boss. Losing to him is no disgrace. She froze. You were his master. I simply nodded. Smiling, she stared, her mind racing before she spoke. Husband. Exactly how many secrets are you hiding from me? I choked, spraying water everywhere in sheer, unadulterated shock. Are you insane? Did this ice queen just call me husband? Had she finally lost her mind or just forgotten her meds? My stunned reaction clearly displeased her. Wiping my chin, she whispered, "Does that title bother you so much?" I nodded dumbly. I hate it. She just smirked. Well, I love it. Sui looked as if he had been struck by lightning. Boss. Married. This has to be a joke. Right. He was told she was a pursuer. Not that the knot was tied. Besides, that eldest miss was dangerously possessive. She would never share him. Yunhu? Shota provocative glare at Sui. 2 years already. Should I show you the legal documents? I spared her a glance and walked away. Done with this. The moment I left, her warm facade instantly turned to ice. She glared at Sui, her territorial aura flaring with lethal intent. Sai, back off. If you try to take him, you will regret it. He smiled dangerously. You worry too much. I only serve my master. Whether he stays depends entirely on your ability to hold him. Yet deep down, Sui knew she couldn't keep him. Upstairs, I leaned against the shadows, eavesdropping on their tense, venomous exchange. I splashed my face, staring at my reflection with a storm of emotions. What did Xiao Yunhu truly mean by those cryptic words? Had she actually fallen for me? Then, what about her white moonlight? My frustration only deepened. Just as I finished, Xia Yunshu entered carrying a glass of milk. She handed it over and naturally began drying my hair. Since she wanted to serve me, I happily enjoyed it. I sipped my milk while casually scrolling through my phone. It was clearly her first time. Her movements were incredibly stiff. My experience was terrible. Gently. Don't blow in one spot. Still vite. I glanced at her in stunned silence. She snorted and pinched my cheek. You're quite bold, ordering me around like this. Though her tone was sharp, her touch remained surprisingly tender. I smirked playfully. It is your honor to serve me. Suddenly, her phone rang. Help me answer it, she requested. I checked the caller ID and nearly burst out laughing. You sure about this? She saw the name and nodded firmly. I pressed answer and turned on the speakerphone. Sister Yunshu Song Mingyu's voice oozed through, giving me goosebumps. Song Mingyu waited 2 long seconds. Hearing only the dryer's whir, he asked, "Are you busy?" I smiled. Your sister Yunshu is currently busy drying my hair. He was stunned. What? Why are you with her? I spoke plainly, determined to provoke his hidden jealousy. We're not just together. We're sleeping together very soon. Liar, sister. Yunshu doesn't like you at all, he barked. A dark light flashed in her eyes as she interrupted him. Song Mingyu, who I love, is none of your business. He was stunned, his tone becoming flustered and utterly shocked. Are you really with him? He had chased her desperately. It was late. They were alone, and she was serving him. Would they really sleep together tonight? If you have something to say, say it, she snapped coldly. I'm sorry for disturbing you so late. Sister Yunshu, he stammered. I just wanted to invite you to my birthday party. She refused flatly. Bosu, no chimi. He wouldn't give up. But you shouldn't have to work on Saturday. Right. He had already bragged that she would celebrate with him. If she didn't come, he would be completely humiliated. She glanced at me, busy accompanying my husband. This woman was clearly using me to block her peach blossoms. Still, Song Mingyu was likely dying of jealousy right now. Feeling great? I leaned in, Wife is the best. Love you. Moi. Her entire body stiffened at my sudden affection. She knew I was provoking him. Yet her heart hammered wildly. Song Mingyu froze. Mind blank. Anything else he managed. Shi Yunchu's tone remained glacial. He Sihil. Yet cowardice held him. He clung desperately to his obedient, sensible facade. Nothing else. Sister. She cut him off instantly. Song Mingyu glared, his teeth grinding in fury. Yihuai must die. That hand demands a debt. The more he ruminated, the more his blood boiled. He had to strike first. No more losing. I tossed the phone. Glass clattering on the table. She smirked. My husband is jealous. Then, get lost. I snapped. Shi Yunshu pouted. You dog. Done using me, I glared. You used me too. She smiled, her hands resting on my shoulders. Let me massage you. I groaned. Body relaxing. Unexpected skill. Pity you aren't a professional masseuse. Gazing at my face. Her expression suddenly shifted. She went quiet. Now, answer my previous question. I opened my eyes. Trapped by her intense gaze, my heart hammered. Her beauty was truly breathtaking. Those eyes, especially, held a stunning, glacial depth. They could swallow one whole casa. She stared blankly. I looked away, my face burning with embarrassment. Stop being narcissistic. What were you saying? Earl Security's leader calls you boss. Why is that? My eyes flickered. She knew of his secret identity. What exactly are you trying to ask me? She sat up, her expression hardening with gravity. What is your link to that mercenary corps? I stayed silent, hiding my past and secrets. Stop meddling in my affairs. She frowned deeply. We are married. I met her gaze. Smirking, answer my question first. Then I'll answer yours. Fine. Ask. My voice dripped with cold mockery. What's the deal with your white moonlight? Her face fell, jaw tightening. I smiled darkly. One mention of him and her mask shattered. Her expression turned to ice. Change the subject. I leaned back, creating a cold distance between us. See, you also have secrets you wish to bury. Fine. I won't pry into your past anymore. Don't touch my business. She snapped at me. Ask anything but that. I mocked her silence. A forbidden name. A topic too painful to touch. He's your heart's cinnabar mole. One touch hurts. Her tone was sharply, bitingly displeased. Zhu? Drop the thorns? My blood boiled as my temper finally snapped. I lunged from the sofa, seething with rage. Yunhu, I'm covered in thorns. Since you still crave achi, don't provoke me. I will never be his substitute. I slammed the door, storming out in a blind fury, seeing my dark aura. Sui panicked. Boss, what happened? Drive? To the hotel? Yunhu regained her senses and sprinted after. Zhu. Wait. When had she ever treated him as a substitute? One bitter disagreement, and he'd branded her heart. Yunhu couldn't bear this misunderstanding. I ignored her, stroking toward the car with glacial coldness. Yunhu lunged forward. Suddenly, a lethal flicker of red light danced before her eyes. A crimson laser dot settled right on the back of my head. Her pupils constricted in terror as she sprinted toward me. Zhu! Watch out. Her desperate scream tore through the air. Before I could move, a shadow tackled me to the ground. As we fell, a gunshot pierced the silence. Sui reacted instantly. He leapt out, drawing his weapon toward the hidden sniper. Bang bang. More gunshots shattered the night. Yunhu and I rolled twice, narrowly dodging the killing intent. The villa bodyguards swarmed out instantly. They formed an iron circle, guns drawn to protect us. Sniper on the roof, Sui pointed at the villa opposite us. The squad aimed their fury, where Sui indicated. After a thunderous volley, the rooftop went deathly silent. I pushed her off, only to hear a muffled groan. My heart stopped. Yunhu, are you hurt?